Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a pretty radical way of looking at evolution. We're going to explore this idea that there's way more to the story than just random chance. That maybe there's a hidden intelligence guiding all of life toward its next big leap.
Okay, so we're all taught that evolution is basically just random mutation, right? Survival of the fittest. And yeah, that's a powerful idea for sure. But what if that's only what we see on the surface? What if there's a much deeper logic at work here?
Well, the perspective we're looking at today completely flips that idea on its head. It basically argues that what looks like this cold mechanical process is, well, it's really just a screen, and behind that screen there's a conscious force that's intentionally guiding the entire show.
All right, let's really get into it. To even begin to get a handle on this idea, we've got to look at some surprising, real-world examples, stuff that really challenges our basic assumptions about how nature actually works.
Just think about it. The incredible balance in a forest, between predators and prey, or even just plants all competing for sunlight. It's this super complex system that somehow maintains this delicate equilibrium. There's no obvious director, right? No one's pulling the strings, and yet it all works together. It almost feels like there's some kind of invisible coordinating force.
Okay, check this out. There was this fascinating study on urban dog populations. And what they found was, when a city's dog population is stable, the litters are pretty small, maybe 1 or 2 pups. But if something happens and that population gets called, suddenly, the remaining dogs start having huge litters, like 5 or 6 puppies. They just rapidly replenish their numbers.
And this is where it gets kind of mind-bending, right? Who is making that decision? The individual mother dog isn't sitting there checking the citywide census report. So what kind of intelligence is this, operating at a collective, maybe even a cellular level, to adjust fertility rates with that kind of precision?
So this phenomenon is what our source material calls a secret collective intelligence. The idea is that it's this hidden consciousness acting as a major driver of evolution, able to jump in and precisely tweak biological processes, all from behind the scenes.
Okay, so if this intelligence thing exists, how does it pull off a massive evolutionary jump? Like the one from animal to human. Well, the source suggests there's a very clear pattern, almost like a blueprint for how this transformation happens. And this leap, it seems to follow a clear set of steps. First, there's a physical change, getting the body ready. Then comes this crucial moment, a reversal of consciousness, where the new mind kind of turns around and asserts its power over the old nature. And finally, this new consciousness expands and basically supercharges all the old abilities with a brand new, higher intelligence.
But what actually powers this whole blueprint? Well, here's the crucial point. This kind of leap doesn't just happen on its own. It's not a solo act. It actually requires 2 very distinct, very powerful forces to come together.
And here they are. On one side, you have an aspiration from below. Think of it as this constant, deep call for change that's rising up from within a species. And on the other side, you have a grace from above, a higher consciousness that descends to answer that call. It's the combination of these two that makes the big leap possible.
So, you might be wondering, how does any of this apply to us today? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The source argues that this exact same evolutionary impulse is literally built into the fabric of what it means to be human.
This is a pretty profound statement. Think about it. Other species seem to just perfect themselves within their own type. A crocodile is just getting better at being a crocodile, and it's been doing that for millions of years. But humans? We seem to be programmed with this built-in drive to become something more. We're literally designed to go beyond what we are.
So all that constant restlessness we feel, that search for meaning, that nagging feeling that there's got to be something more to life, according to this view, that's not a bug, it's a feature. It's the very engine of our evolution. It means we're a transitional species, a kind of bridge between what came before and what's coming next.
And apparently, nature has a specific method for getting a species ready for this kind of jump. It develops that species to its absolute maximum potential, making it more complex, more adaptable. Basically, it prepares it until it's ready for what the source calls a bursting of the shell. That moment of ripened, decisive emergence into a whole new stage of being.
And that brings us to a massive, and I mean massive, question about right now, our current moment in history. With all the spiritual searching and the general feeling of dissatisfaction we see all over the world, Could it be that we are the species that's being prepped to burst its shell?
The source suggests the next step isn't going to be some sci-fi alien invasion or anything like that. It's the emergence of a new spiritual type of human. Someone who looks just like you and me, but whose entire being is defined by a deep, fundamental spiritual aspiration.
And this is described as nature's obvious method. It's the same playbook as before. Just like a human-like being emerged from an animal-like one, a spiritual type is set to emerge from our current mental type. They'll look familiar, sure, but they'll carry this unmistakable stamp of a whole new kind of consciousness.
So, the final thought here is a really personal one. That deep-seated feeling you might have, that dissatisfaction with just the limits of ordinary life, that inner call for something more, what if that isn't just a personal quirk? What if that's the call of evolution itself, working right through you, preparing for nature's next great leap?